Hey, we're Camillo and Anouk and we converted Dakar, our 4x4 Mitsubishi Pajero, into a camper. We've been traveling along the Balkans for the last few months and started our journey in late August from Germany. Now we're entering our last Balkan country, Greece. We're looking forward to a whole month here in this beautiful country, roaming around in nature, exploring the Oracle of Delphi and the capital city of Athens, relaxing in Dakar and organizing our further travel plans. But more on that later.
We enter Greece from the Albanian coastal area, and the first place we stop are the Meteora Monasteries. These monasteries aren't just ordinary monasteries, but are built on immense rock pillars. In the 13th century, monks decided to build these to protect themselves. They could only be reached by climbing a long ladder, giving the monks complete control of the entry to the monasteries. Nowadays, this place is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, making it comparably touristy. Well, and we made the mistake of not checking the national holidays of Greece and turning up on a holiday that is known as an outdoor family holiday. Thus, it was even more crowded, but nevertheless a very impressive place and a great lunch spot.
We find a camp spot overlooking some beautiful mountains. Luckily, it's still warm enough to spend some time on our roof rack terrace. Over the last few months, we adapted really well to living on 4 square meters. It's interesting to realize how little one needs and how universal a bed surface can be used. Nevertheless, we're very dependent on the weather around us, and too many cold and rainy days in a row get really tough with our way of traveling. You can't stand upright, and slowly the cold moistness creeps its way into bed sheets and clothes. That's the difference to traveling in a van with more room and maybe even heating. And even in Greece, we slowly notice how the temperatures in the mountains start to drop in mid-November.
Maybe you remember that our water pump broke in Bosnia. Well, it turned out to be a bigger problem. In the end, the easiest solution was to send a new pump to our home in Germany, and we asked our parents to send us a package to Greece. After weeks without a pump, we are extremely happy to receive the new pump, but also an obligatory sticker for the car, which you apparently need as soon as you leave Europe. We have a look at the city of Larissa, try a delicious sesame pastry, and then head into the countryside and install the new pump. We are accompanied by a group of goats.
Greece has some very fertile and vast regions. We decide to spend 2 days next to a huge artificial lake. The view is amazing. You can see about 30 kilometers in every direction. Our travel route was never set in stone, but we roughly planned to drive towards the Black Sea. Many little things changed during our journey through the Balkans. At some point, in a hostel in Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, Camillo had a crackpot idea. What about taking a ferry to Israel, and from there traveling through the Middle East and via Turkey back to Germany? We would still pass the Black Sea, just 11,000 kilometers later.
So we started to research. After many weeks and going down quite a few rabbit holes, we realized that overlanding Israel, Jordan and Saudi Arabia with your own car is possible, even though it's quite complicated. But the true problem is getting to Israel. There seemed to be no ferry between Greece or Turkey to Israel, so we gave up on the whole idea. Well, fate nevertheless seemed to like our plans and gave us an essential nudge in the right direction. In one Facebook group, we found a cargo shipping company that ships from Athens to Israel, but only cars. We wrote them an email, received information and filled in all kinds of forms, and then...
Today is a really special day because finally the ferry wrote us, the ferry company, and now, today, we've got the confirmation and we booked a flight this morning because just Dakar's gonna take the ferry over to Israel, and we'll fly from Athens. I hope everything's fine. We've got the international papers for the car. We've got our international driver's license. We've got insurance. We've got the insurance that if we have COVID over there, that this is covered by our insurance. A lot of tiny stuff to find out, and that was quite a lot of work the last weeks, and at many points we just thought, well, forget about that, because there are not many people traveling to Israel, so you don't find so much information online, and everyone says something different. Yes, we're happy.
As we make our way to the east coast, we drive along huge agricultural fields. Greece seems to grow big amounts of cotton. We see all kinds of harvesting machines in gigantic fields. We decide to have a closer look at the, for us, exotic plant and stop near an unharvested cotton field.
We're really looking forward to the ocean again. We want to drive to the coast the next morning, but shortly before we park Dakar that evening, a high-pitched warning signal sounds and 3 warning lights with a brake system appear. We stop immediately, take a closer look at the brakes, and look up the meaning of the warning symbols. After looking through forums on the internet, we see all the worst-case scenarios that are possible, like a broken brake servo. Most mean unaffordable repairs and the end of our journey. We only there truly realize how dependent we are on our car, our transportation, kitchen, water source, sleeping place. Basically our home on 4 wheels. If there's a real problem with Dakar, we have to go home. We both start to panic a little and go for a walk. Immer noch leer? Okay.
Aber es hat Druck, heißt die Bremsen funktionieren noch, können an sich noch fahren.
Ja.
In the next morning, instead of driving to the ocean, we take our bikes to the next petrol station and buy brake fluid. It seemed very little brake fluid left, even though we had checked it not too long ago. After refilling the brake fluid, we decide to slowly drive the car to the next car service and check the brakes. The high-pitched signal stops on our way there. The mechanics have a look and say that everything is fine with the brakes, even though they are worn down.
Due to that, a bigger distance has to be covered between the brake pads and the discs, so you need more brake fluid than usually. After refilling even more brake fluid, even the warning symbols disappear. That was the whole problem. We are so relieved, and decide to check the brake fluid more regularly than we usually check the oil. So it was our own fault that caused such panic. After that, we don't have a problem with the brake system anymore.
We then finally head to the coast and spend a few days near the ocean. On our way, we stop at a hot spring. We're really not expecting it to be warm after visiting a few springs in Albania, but this one is really hot. You have to be careful to give your body enough time to adapt while entering.
The Oracle of Delphi, This is the point where we truly realize that we are in the country of Greek mythology. In ancient times, the mountain of Delphi was a sacred place. It was considered the center of the world. There also stands the Temple of Apollon, the major oracle who was consulted about important decisions throughout the ancient classical world. Leonidas, the Spartan king, asked the oracle for help, and so did Alexander the Great and Emperor Nero, just to name a few.
You can imagine that this place is loaded with historical importance. For us, the entry is free, as in so many other museums and places we visit. Apparently, if you're under 25 and have a European passport, many such places are free. Another reason to travel while young.
We stroll around the huge archaeological grounds and see stone piles over stone piles. Only a few temples are well preserved. The oracle itself consists of 6 pillars. If you Google the Oracle of Delphi, you see pictures of a temple of Athena because visually it's much more impressive. It was fascinating to see the kind of people visiting this place. Most of them were older than 50 and German, British or French. Having this explorer air of the last century, you could truly feel their delight about this ancient place.
We spent 3 days exploring Delphi, eating breakfast and writing postcards with the most spectacular view over the valley. And then we slowly make our way towards Athens.
As soon as you enter big cities while traveling in a car, you start to live on parking lots. In the beginning, it's a strange feeling, doing all the day-to-day things with hardly any privacy and feeling a little homeless. But it's funny how fast you stop to care. Who else can spend 7 days in Athens without paying a cent for accommodation?
On this parking lot in the outskirts of Athens, we are accompanied by this tinsy tiny cat, so we adopt her for our 2-day stay.
We name her Cornflakes because we fed her soaked cornflakes on the first day, but she didn't seem to be extremely hungry. Much more, she seemed on the lookout for warm cuddles and an exploration tour around our car. It hurt to leave Cornflakes behind again, but we hope to have given her a few fun days with yummy cat food.
Athens is stunning. We enjoy being in a metropole. Of course, we have a look at the Acropolis, and again we only need to show our passport and can enter for free. The Acropolis is located on a hill above the city of Athens and contains the remnants of ancient Greek buildings of great historical and archaeological importance. The next days we spent strolling through the city. Enjoying bus and metro rides and exploring the old Olympic grounds. We even take some photos there.
Otherwise, we again live on a parking lot. There are a few things we want to take care of while in the city. One is to finally wash all our clothes. So we sort everything and bring them to a laundry service. We turn on a washing machine, wait, then a tumble dryer, and wait again. It's funny how basic things like making laundry suddenly become a real day project as soon as you don't have a washing machine at yours. We'll truly appreciate our washing machine as soon as we're back home again.
Slowly the date of our departure comes ever closer, and we start to get very excited about the shipment of Dakar and our flight to Israel. The day before the ferry departs, we fill up Dakar's water tank, pack our backpack for the next few days, and prepare Dakar by taking all things from the roof rack inside and tidying up. We then look for a parking lot near the harbor. In the last evening we use up all our fruits and vegetables, and then we try to sleep.
In the next morning, we already see the ferry waiting to be loaded. We drive the last meters to the container buildings and hand in the last essential papers. We then drive Dakar over the port area, park him next to the ferry, hand in the car keys, and within 20 minutes we leave the port. And suddenly we only have our little backpack. That is the point of no return.
After leaving Dakar at the port, time passes very fast. We go to our Airbnb for the night, and the following day we walk and take a bus to the airport. And then we're suddenly on the plane from Athens to Tel Aviv. We take off and Greece below us gets ever smaller.
We see cargo ferries below us. On one of these is our little home Dakar. Until now, we could always return home to Germany within a few hours' drive. As soon as we leave the mainland of Greece, there's absolutely no way back. And I didn't expect it, but it's a wonderful feeling. Physically leaving everything we know behind, a whole ocean separating us from the before. This is the beginning of a new chapter. We both have no idea how Israel will be, but we're excited to find out. See you soon!